Without anything?
Let me take you a
Terrific.
picture now. I'll show how you look when you came in from JFK.
Please.
Let me hold it.
Don't mean nothing. Hold on. Stay where you are. Now you got a red light blinking,
Yeah.
right? You
Yeah.
see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's going.
It's on the top, though.
Yeah. it's
Okay, good. What
Okay.
day of the week is it?
going. Thursday.
Thursday. All right.
All day long.
I just want your great grandchildren when they see this to know that you had your marbles. That's all.
It'll be a pleasure for us to
Wait,
do it
what
so
you-
they can see it.
Wait a minute, Thursday. What year is it? Forget that.
The year of
Mom,
Yemen.
come closer,
The
Mom.
year of Yemen.
Mom, get closer here. Get closer to the. Get closer under the thing.
Oh, we ought to get Gus to see it.
I want to
No,
get
don't
this.
worry about Gussie. There'll be plenty of time. I just want to see if it's working. That's all.
I'll hit
All right, Mom, where are you? There you are.
Yeah.
Through the
It
fall.
came out? Okay,
Come on,
good.
don't-
That's all. Yeah, there's plenty of light. Okay, we're okay.
Wait a minute. I don't want this to be in the way.
Yeah, okay.
He's
You know,
taking
what
a
else do you
picture.
want? Hey, Pop, I want to ask you a question.
Take a
Now, wait a minute. Let me
away.
get the light.
I gotta know what you asked me in advance so I can talk to you.
Okay, well, let me ask you so you'll know. What day is today? You know what day today is?
Today is, see,
See, yeah, go ahead. Yeah? What day is
I
it?
gotta start all over.
See, you got to start. You got to fix it all
Saturday,
time.
22nd, I think.
Of what?
1986.
19, what year? What month?
November.
November, okay. Now, let me ask, how old are you today? How old are you, by the way?
I'm 82.
You're lying.
You're not telling us the
Lying.
truth. Either you or my wife is a liar. Who's the liar
Mother
here?
said you're going to be 84 in March.
I'll be 83 in March.
She said 84.
83 in March.
Oh, it's all, okay. Now, let me ask a different question. Where were you born?
I was born in Białystok, Poland.
Poland. And what were your mother and father's names?
My father was Julius and my mother was Anna.
Julius? And what was your mother's maiden name? Anna what?
Anna Goodhart.
Is that
Goodhart. Is that her name? Goodhart?
Goodhart.
I never
My
knew
God,
that.
now I know where my wife got it from. Look at that. Let me ask you this: When did you come into the United States?
I came into the United States in 1904.
How old were you?
I was 2 years old.
Do you do you remember the name of the boat?
That I don't know. I know we came from Germany, Hamburg. I
Is that
think.
right? You lived in Germany?
No, that's the way they traveled in
From
those
Poland
days.
to Germany?
They made connection.
Listen, you can't all talk at once, because otherwise they can talk. Yeah. So you came over in 1902, from here to here.
I came over, I was 2 years old here.
Yeah.
And I arrived here in 1904.
Did you have brothers or sisters?
Yes, I had half brothers and half sisters, and one natural sister,
What was her name?
Fanny.
When did she die?
She died at a very early
She was
age.
born in the U.S.
Born in the USA.
You mean she had no children?
No,
She was a baby.
baby.
Oh, I see. And your half brothers, the half brothers and half sisters, they were on your father's side.
They're on a father's side. It's my natural father.
What did your father do for a living?
In Europe. He was what was known as a skilled artist, and at that time doing all kind of certain work.
Gold leaf.
Gold leaf, lettering, graining, decorating.
Was it just in churches?
No, he
No,
did.
he
He
did
did
it
general work, and even
did
he
it
was
in
invited.
palaces.
He was invited by the nobility to fix up their
Mansions.
mansions and ceilings and all that, and they kept it.
I mean, he was a painter.
No, he was a skilled artist.
Really?
Yes.
So how come you weren't an artist too?
Blame it on.
You didn't have skills. Let me ask you this. 1902 you came over. What
I
school?
didn't say that. 1904.
You came over in 1904. I think you were born in 1902.
He's 84 years old.
Huh?
I arrived here in 1904 at the age of 2.
At the age of 2. Okay. Very good. What schools did you go to?
I went to a public school.
Yeah.
I went to part high school.
Yeah.
Then I continued my school life by going to a prep school and then I went to college at night. I graduated to college of the
City
City of New York,
You mean CCNY?
CCNY.
What did you study there?
I studied accounting, auditing,
Yeah,
law,
It's a
right.
pity you didn't use it all.
all the kindred subjects that dealt with financial affairs.
Mhm. When did you graduate from the city?
I graduated from City in 1927.
You went at night, Daddy?
I went at night,
How many years?
and our
Say how many years you finished.
and our son Joel entered the same college at the age of 16 in the daytime during the Korean War.
College, you finished it in 3 years.
Yeah.
Mom, why don't you sit down so we'll take your picture
He
too?
finished it, let him take
3
it.
years is very fast in for night
Well,
school.
Well, he had a good head on his shoulders.
I don't know about that.
Well, I'm telling you.
All
He
right.
still remembers things that a lot of guys wouldn't know.
So when did you get married, Pop?
Oh,
We were
Oh, she sounds like she's
Yeah.
grown.
we were married in 1929.
1929. Where did you get married?
Where? We
Yeah,
got married in Brooklyn,
yeah.
the name. I
and
know the name of the town.
What's the name?
Columbia Hall.
Columbia Hall
On Blake Avenue.
on Blake Avenue.
Mom, do me a favor. Instead of standing over there, because the camera can't get both of you
Go
at the
closer,
same
Dad.
time. Come closer. Pull the chair next to him while the oatmeal
I
is
thought you
cooking.
wanted a solo.
No. Well, I do want it solo, but I'd rather you let him talk. Don't be like the other lady the other
No,
day
I'm
who
trying
says
to-
don't interrupt, you know?
I'm trying to.
You know who I'm talking
Don't
about.
mention names.
I'm not going to mention the name now.
Who,
Sit-
Gussie?
No, it
No.
wasn't Gussie. Sit back a little further, Mom. Sit back a little. Put
Yeah, I'm trying
your
to-
chair up
I know
against the
I'm trying
other
to fill
chair
him in,
there.
but-
Ellie, take your pocketbook away if you could.
Daddy,
Put
take my
on the
pocketbook
floor.
off the
Will
table.
we
Thanks.
both be shown?
Yeah, it'll if it comes out.
Put
Is
your
there a red
arms
light
out.
that's lighting?
Yes.
You don't have
Okay.
to hold me around. Just stand natural.
If that, when were you born? 1929.
Who,
So-
I?
Yeah, no, I mean you were married
We were married
1929.
in March 2nd, wasn't it? Yeah, March 2nd, 1929.
That means you married how many years?
57 years, shall I put it?
And after 57 years, you still don't want him to put your arm around you. That's
No.
pretty good.
No, it's all right. It's good enough. Let him be able to move his arms, though.
Now just let him talk, okay? You can sit there. If he makes a mistake, you can kick him, but don't
He
tell him.
doesn't make mistakes. He just falters.
Falters? What's faltering mean? What? Let me. Did 1929 you got married, right? Where were you living? Where did you?
And the
Where,
Wall Street crash came in a month or two
they
later.
heard you got married, so they crashed. All right.
No, we crashed in October 29. We were married.
Yeah,
We were
right.
married in March, and we were newlyweds. We had very little money in the bank, and we treasured every penny we had. And 29 bing it went down, and our bank was one of those. But they paid
You
us.
mean your bank
Crashed,
folded?
Yeah, folded.
Did they pay
But
any money?
They paid very little through the years, but we managed. I
And-
wasn't working. I was working.
When
I
the
was
bank
still working.
crashed, you didn't collect it from the government?
No,
At that
they
time.
didn't have those
But
things.
we got back 72% of our
Through the years.
deposit through the
Really?
years.
They put-
Even after Eleanor was born, we'd get a check once in a while.
Go ahead. And from 1929 already you were practicing accounting?
He started practicing when we got married. I insisted that he change his job and he'd go in and we'll work together and he'll make progress. I had a complete faith in him
See,
and I was right.
See, I was right. You see,
I
when I
was
put her
right.
down, she wouldn't let you talk, Pop. Am I right? You see
Well,
that?
that was
Why don't
my
you let
end
him-
of things.
Let him talk. I'll
And
let
then-
you talk, I promise.
And then I started to work for a part by name of Milton M. Fromkin,
Yeah.
whose brother was the
Sidney Franklin.
who was a matador.
You mean it was the Brooklyn, the
Jewish-
bullfighter,
the Jewish-
the Jewish bullfighter from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
But what about your own family? Didn't you have some famous people in your family?
Oh,
He didn't know them at that time.
You didn't know who they
until
were?
after he was married. His mother sort of kept him
Mom,
away.
you're talking. Let him talk. I mean, it's his family. Let him
I
tell
came into
about
the
it.
family then already, so I know what all went on.
I know,
His
but let
mother
him-
never took him around to the family, so he didn't know the family until I got into the family. When I got into the family, we became very friendly.
Uh-huh.
And I was the one that typed up all his resumes to different firms to get into accounting. We weren't even married at the time.
Mom, your great-grandchildren are great-great-grandchildren are going to believe that he didn't talk. You did all the talking, you know that.
I started at $12 a week.
No, 18.
18.
Yeah, after.
Behind every successful man stands a woman telling him she's wrong.
He falters, Jack, and that's where I come in.
Well, how do you know he falters? You remember so clearly whether it was 12 or 18?
I remember very clearly because I was making 26 and he was making 18. We had 44 and his mother came to live with us. We had 3 people to live on $44 a week.
How did you do it, Mom?
We did it, and I never borrowed from anybody. I always made it.
Right.
We worked very hard together. I wouldn't say I was stingy. We always entertained, but we always did. We never ran to any nightclubs. We just did it very balabatish, and we managed.
See, as long as she's talking, can I let her talk, Pop?
Yes.
Mom, when were you born?
I was born in 1909. February 5th, 1909 is my official birthday.
And what's the name of your mother and father?
My mother was Fanny, and her maiden name was Braver.
Yeah.
And her mother's name was Banner. My father was Reuben Gross.
Reuben Gross.
Yeah, my mother came from Austria, near Lemberg, was Konnenich near Lemberg. My father, I don't know, he also came from Austria, but I think the northern part of Austria, but I don't know the town that he was born in.
What kind of work did your father do?
My father came to the United States. He was a teenager. He really knew nothing. And one of his brothers took him into a factory and taught him how to operate a sewing machine. He never knew how to stitch anything. He never was able to stitch a thing, which my mother found very good because she could never see that you should marry a tailor. To her, it was very down. But being that he wasn't a tailor, he was just an operator, a machine, and they worked on uniform trousers. So they call them slacks today, but at that time it was trousers. And this is how, if you call it making a living, because they were always on strike, and my mother had a rough time, but very close.
Your mother had, how many children did your mother have?
Well, altogether there were 5.
5.
4, then Rosin came many years later.
Yeah, what were the 5 children's names in their order? Who was the oldest?
Sadie's 2 years older than I am. Mildred is 20 months younger than I am. Gussie's 2 years younger than Mildred. And Rosalind was 17 and a half years younger than Sadie and 15 and a half years younger than me. So Rosalind's trying to make up for the lost time that she wasn't in this world, and she's very happy when we get together and we tell her everything that she missed with the family and the way we grew up and the way our parents looked when they were younger, because they were much older when she was born. And
I heard you play the violin.
I play the violin. I started play. I was 10 years of age, and I had great love for it. My sister Sadie did too, but I had a feeling for playing by ear, although I played by notes. She was strictly with the notes. She was a perfectionist. She was good, but without the notes, she was lost. And as soon as my mother couldn't afford to send us anymore for the
And Sadie's going to see this. You better be careful what you say.
And as soon as my mother couldn't afford to send us anymore for the lessons because things were very rough, but I continued playing. She didn't. That fiddle was my outlet for many, many things. I used to love it, and then later on in life, dance and play at the same time. I played the music by ear. What I heard, I played. And this was...
You think that's how Joel and Joni got that way?
I think he's much better than I ever was. I don't think I was good.
He got it from hot genes.
I don't know about it being good.
He says so.
I don't say I was good, but I did it, and I used to sing a lot too. And I used to be considered a good singer, but that was my outlet in my life, as I was growing up. But I wouldn't call myself anywhere near professional. I was far, far from it. Joel is doing much better than I ever did as far as the music is concerned. And then when I had my
wait a minute. There weren't there musical people in both your families? Who was musical in your family?
Who's musical in your family?
Let him talk. Yeah, you let him
Yeah, I'm
talk. Yeah,
trying to
talk.
figure out who was
Betty
music.
Comden.
Oh yeah, Betty Comden.
Who else?
Well, she's a lyricist, isn't she?
How is Betty Comden related to you, Pop?
Betty Comden is related to a maternal
Oh, you know
great grandmother
Leave that off.
who
Oatmeal.
Oh, you didn't know?
Come here, dish it out yourself.
I have to dig.
You don't remember, huh? Wasn't Howard Da Silva also a relative?
Yes, but not from the same
Were
great.
Howard Da Silva and Betty Comden related to each
The
other?
same way as he was related, same thing. Here, here's the pasta.
All right, you don't remember now.
Whatever you want to
They
do.
were
Well,
related.
within reason, but I never did much
He
knowing.
never was in contact
in contact with them.
except Howard Da Silva we once
Who was
saw.
eating cereal besides me and Jack?
Just you and Jack.
Oh,
That we met him when he was performing in 1776, the show 1776. So we went behind we went up to the stage, up in his dressing room, and we spoke to him, and he was very happy to see us. And that's the only personal contact we ever had with him.
He's a nice man.
How about Betty Comden? Did you ever
We
meet
never
her?
met her, no.
You never met her.
No,
And what about on your side, ma'am?
my side, we had
Zero most.
Zero Mostel's mother and my mother were cousins.
Oh, is that? They were cousins.
They were cousins.
Did you ever meet
and my
them?
mother, no. And my mother was, before I was born, when Sadie was a baby, they lived in the same area. And my mother lived in East New York, and they
Yeah.
lived in Brownsville, but they were both around the same age. So I used to go
When you say
visit
East New York and Bronzeville, you're talking about Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah. But
That's
that
Brooklyn,
time,
New
you know,
York.
it was rural. It was very
You got to
rural
remember, the
area.
people who see this, they may not know where East New York is.
Yeah, well,
Where
at that
Brooklyn
time, it was very rural area. And my
I
mother
mean,
always
Brooklyn was rural.
very rural.
It's rural today, too.
No, they had, yeah, that's happened. But they had farms, and you know what I mean. It was my mother never liked big crowds. She liked to live away. She always had good ideas because she was raised in a wealthy atmosphere, and they always lived well. And when she got married, she couldn't afford it very well, but she did the best she could in her own way. So she used to visit the Mostels, and they'd visit her. They had children, you know. The Mostels had a house full. My mother had just Sadie at that time. And the husband, Zero Mostel's father, was a Baltfiller, which is like...
Really? He's religious?
He was, oh yeah.
Oh, I
He
didn't
was
know
a
that.
Baltfiller.
Pop,
and-
your family was religious.
No.
I heard that your family had communists. Is it true?
No, they
Right.
weren't communists.
They
His
weren't
one
going
brother.
with it. Yeah, right, that's true,
They
huh?
considered themselves free thinkers at
Oh, I
that
see.
time.
Right? They weren't religious then.
They were
No.
very
Free.
conservative. No, not conservative. They were very
Liberal or radical?
liberal and radical. One brother was he used to go marching,
Yeah.
and
He went marching.
yeah, for the communists.
Really?
Yeah, his brother. He's gone a long time. He was his half brother. He was much older than Irving. He was closer to Irving's mother's age.
Mm-hmm.
So, but as I said, he didn't have anything to do with them till I came into the family. When I came into the family, I don't know, somehow or other we took to each other, and we became a Kalver family because nobody bothered with each other. And the most of his mother, she didn't want to have anything to do with them.
Why?
Ask Irving.
Irving, answer.
He knew
Why-
all before
Shut
I
up.
did.
Let him talk, for God's sake. Why? Tell her why. Explain it. Listen, I want them to know that they may have problems in their marriages too, you know.
Well, in those days, things were entirely different now that I really can't express why she did or did not want to. And
Wasn't she the second wife?
Yes.
Yes.
So she was the second wife, so maybe she didn't get along so good. These
It
were all...
wasn't exactly that. There were certain things that came up that I cannot fully discuss now.
I see. I mean, there were private problems they had.
Yes.
All
Well, I
right.
came from a very happy home. My mother and father had the most beautiful life that any couple could ever want in life, except that there was always that money problem. But yet they never, they very rarely argued. And if they did have a disagreement, they just wouldn't talk for a day or two. But you never heard hollering, you never heard them cursing, you never heard them call each other names. And
Are you telling me that in his family you had that? Is
I
that
don't
it?
know. I don't know.
That's where
I didn't
that's
know
where
that.
your daughter learned how
I
to
didn't
curse.
know them. I didn't know his father. I
Oh,
didn't know
really?
his father. I came into the family, he was just along with his mother. He was a teenager when his father died.
I see. So you only
So
knew
I
his
know,
mother.
I know, yeah. I
And-
only
and the
knew-
mother
I
lived
didn't
with-
get along with her.
And the mother lived with you for a while.
She lived with us for 2 years, but it was rough.
Really?
Yeah, because he was her only child, and she never felt that I guess I was good enough for him. But I guess it would have been with any girl he married, because she just felt that nothing was good enough for him.
How long you married now, Ma? What are you laughing at? How long? 58 years?
7 years.
She
Jenny, what
should-
did you say? The first 25 years are the best?
Yeah, well, after that,
Well,
it gets
we
downhill.
had some good years together. We even though his mother, but he always stuck up for me. I had a rough time with her. She never felt that I don't know what she wanted. I really don't know what she wanted.
Right.
But no matter what I did, it wasn't good enough, you know.
Uh-huh.
But he always.
But
stuck
the
up
marriage
for
still
me.
made it. Even though you had a mother-in-law problem, the marriage made it
It
for
was a bad
58
problem.
years.
It was a bit. He
But-
always was with me. He always.
But the marriage made it for 58
yeah,
years.
yeah, he was
So
always
apparently you
with me.
can overcome a problem sometimes.
It looks like it. One of us anyway.
All
I mean,
right.
it depends on the character of the party of the people involved. You
Uh-huh.
know, some people can't take stress. Others force stress. So they have stress and they force themselves to keep going.
All right. Pop, let me ask you a question. If you leave them alone, though, for a minute. What advice would you give to your grandchildren? And more important, what advice would you give to your great-grandchildren who watch this?
Well, that's hard to state, because as the years go by, the things change. There are different ways that go on through the government, and in most governments you become pawns. You have to conform to whatever the government at the time wishes to do, and that is the proper thing when that government is in power. So it's hard to say right now, but it definitely will not hurt any generation to be good, to have ideals, to go to school, to study, to obtain as much knowledge as possible, even if you pick up some of the things without going to school, and try to absorb as much as you can towards the future.
Mm-hmm. And Mom, what advice would you have for your granddaughter, great-granddaughter?
I'll tell you what advice.
How do you make a marriage go for 58 years?
I'll tell you how it was. When I got married, I remember under the chuppah, I said to myself, well, even if I have to deny myself, because we started on very little, you know, and we had 3 people, not 2 of us, just 3, because his mother came to live with us. I says, no matter what, even if I have to forego things for myself, I'll make it comfortable for him and make it as easy as possible. And I think that was right through to this very day, although there are times that are rough, real rough, because he's not well. But
Hey, Mom.
always
is
made
it-
do with whatever we had.
Mhm.
If I had less, although he kept making progress as he went along. If I couldn't afford a vacuum, I would get down on the floor and I would wash or scrub.
You
or
think
use
Joni
a-
would do that, Mom?
Or use a whisk broom.
Uh-huh.
When I could afford a vacuum, I got a vacuum. If I couldn't afford it, I didn't have it. I couldn't afford anything, I did without, but we always had food in the house. I never borrowed from neighbors, and I never borrowed money from anybody. We always managed on our own. And this is the way we've been all through our married life.
In other words, what you're saying is you feel that your success is due to your
Is
independence.
that success? I don't know if you call that success,
Well,
because I'm
listen.
far from a rich woman.
Well,
Far from
well,
it.
Pop, what do you think success is? How would you define success? Let him talk. How do you define success?
That's a hard word to explain, because to other people, everyone has their own idea what success is. In this day and age, success is entirely different. It goes to the generation now that are in power, that you would call the yuppies or so, and they want this, they want that.
Well, what do you think?
Material things.
What you mean material things?
Yeah.
What do you think is important? What makes a man successful in your mind? I'm thinking we're interested in you. We're not interested in
Well,
other
some
people.
people,
Not us, some people. You.
to me,
Yeah. What's success?
success, if I have enough to get by adequately without resorting to others and being content with the life I have with my partner and at all times, I think that's important, because most of the people today even say that love or analogies of different kind of love, because there's a love for a child, there's a love for a wife, there's a love for other things. They become a factor, but in the long run, you must have some form of call it what you want. You don't have to be a strict conformance with a religion, a temple, a church, but still you gotta grow up well, and the children in the house should know that there's always something there to keep going with times and keep up to these things.
In
That
Hebrew,
are part of fact.
I think what you're saying in Hebrew, it's called Sholem Abayis.
Yes, shalom abayis could be. That means happiness in the home.
That's right.
And that is a good fact. If you get that, you got the basis of everything.
Can I put it, could I ask?
Yeah,
you?
sure. Don't ask me. This is your
After living 57 years with him, I can tell you what he is.
But
I
he
think
said,
I
wait a
know
minute.
him better than
Wait a minute.
anybody else.
Is it
knows him.
57 or 58
No,
years?
it's 57 going on 58.
Oh, it's-
I
wait
know
a minute. When will it be 58?
March.
In March what?
March 2nd
Okay.
in
Hey,
87.
Mom, on March 7 of 1989, then we have a big party. We got to make another party, please,
Don't
God.
worry about that next
March
year.
7th? Why
No.
March 7th?
March 2nd.
March 2nd, she said.
I'll tell you about Irving
1989.
Irving Kalver is a man very hard to find as far as this. He's the most honest person in the world with his way of talking and his way of dealing with other people.
Now remember, this is going to your grandson. Don't
He
complain
is.
too much.
He's
Go
the
ahead.
most, well, I complain about other
Yeah.
things, but he's the most honest person to a degree where he didn't let ambition take over his honesty like some people do. And he was admired by all the people he worked with because of his honesty, and he was always good in whatever he did. But he was never a go-getter to step on anybody or to push himself. He was never a pusher, never wanted to be the first one in the line.
In other words, Mom, the fact that you weren't as wealthy as you would have liked to have been, do you think that made a difference?
Well, it could have made life a little easier for us.
Yeah.
Could have made it a lot easier, but I always lived comfortably. We never suffered. We never had suffered where I didn't know where the next day's meal was
Ma,
coming
how many
from.
bowls of oatmeal can you eat in the morning?
Well, that's
Mine was
right.
very good just now.
That's right.
Well,
But
this
Thanks.
is the best
And
cereal,
I'm
Mother.
getting hungry, so I think I better
See?
don't stop eating, Craig. Craig, don't stop eating, Craig. Come on.
Oh, come on.
And we want to get a natural picture, don't we? Gotta eat.
Talk.
What do you,
why don't you talk about
come up toward me. Come toward me. So we get it under the light. Because without the light, I got a bad light here.
Sit down here
but sit a little
closer.
further back than they were.
Yeah.
Okay, a
sit
little
there.
further back.
Clean
That's
up
it.
the table.
All right, is the light on?
Light is
Wait,
on.
I
I don't have a great light, but we
I
got
don't
some
want
light.
you to catch
Have I got all the light I can get?
Yeah.
Okay. Craig,
Yes.
what's the day, the month, the year?
The day, the month, the year.
Yeah.
Today is November 23rd, Sunday, 1986.
Do you know, I remember there was a time when you had to know it without looking at your watch. It's unbelievable.
If I worked today, I would know. Sunday, it's a day of rest.
Craig, when are you graduating?
I graduate December 15th, 1986.
And what exactly the degree are you going to get?
No degree.
No, what is it?
No, what is it called?
No degree.
What do you mean no degree?
Well, my degree is going to be when I take my certification test in March.
Yeah,
Then if I pass that test, then I'm a certified respiratory therapy technician.
very good. From there you get right into medical school.
Right.
Right on your way. Very good. And, but then that test is pretty important.
Very, very important. They say 33% of the people that take it pass.
Wow, that's a tough test.
Sounds pretty tough, but
Wow.
I can handle.
You better handle it. Okay, Craig.
Talk a little louder.
All we can say to you is the very best of luck. Pop, come up to him. Talk to him here, Pop. You're too far away.
No, let him do the law.
I'd like to introduce my brother. This
Oh,
is
yeah.
my brother, Ronald.
Ronald, go ahead
Ronald,
over
come
there.
look at the camera.
Ronald,
Sit down.
you know I want to see this. I want Justin
down,
to see
Ron.
You
this.
get another
Because
chair.
Justin, every so often, he
Good,
asks me
that's
about you.
perfect.
Hi,
Hi,
we look
Justin.
like brothers.
How you doing, Just?
There you go. What's doing with you, Ryan?
Oh, working hard, you know.
You going to be a big
Gotta-
TV star?
One day, hopefully.
I heard you're trying out for cameraman.
Yeah.
And if it comes through, what happens then?
Who knows? Maybe New York.
New York is next.
Maybe.
Okay, that's great. We wish your mother was here. We could take some movies of her too, but
I know she wishes she was here, but she's in Orlando saying hello to some friends that she hasn't seen in about 12 years.
good.
Maybe we'll make copies, and when I get my VCR, we'll play them for her.
There you go. You mean once you pass that test, you can afford a VCR?
I can afford a VCR next week.
The hell with the test.
The hell with the test. New York's better money anyway. I just gotta live with you guys for 10
I'll need the
years.
respiratory
This
therapy.
way I can afford it, you know. The price of living there is just really bad.
Really?
Really bad.
Where? New York.
New York.
New York is expensive.
Very, very expensive.
Well, you heard your Aunt Ellie invited you. The only difference between she invited you for December, and I'm
right,
saying
not
after
for
you
10
pass-
years.
and I'm saying when you pass the test. Well, I don't know which way we go. When will you get the result of the test?
Results of the test just 6 weeks after I take it.
So that would mean March, April, May.
Passover.
Sounds like my birthday.
Passover time.
Yeah, maybe your birthday.
That would be a great Passover gift.
Why don't
Sure,
you buy that?
I'd like to get a week off work, but I don't know how possible that will be after working for 2 months.
All right, very good. Okay, fellas, now Justin is going to see this, okay?
What about Ashley?
Well, Ashley will see it, but much later
Ashley,
on.
open
Years
your
to come,
eyes.
right?
Okay,
Oh,
Ashley's
her eyes are open.
Ashley's only 2 weeks old, but that won't take long. Oh, you got the pictures there.
Hey, Justin, say hello to
Say
yourself.
hello to your sister for me, Justin. You look cute. Little.
He's into wrestling now.
Really?
Her
Justin,
second
you
name
wanna
is
wrestle
Jade,
Papa?
Ashley Jade.
He's a little big for you, but he does look like George the Animal Steel.
They'll have plenty of
I
fights.
think,
don't
Justin,
worry.
before you know it, you'll be able to take on Randy Macho Man Savage.
Good. All right, now I'll tell you what, Ronnie, how about you taking me and Aunt Ellie? Got some things that you forgot to say on the last tape, is that right?
Daddy, you told me about the poem. About love, different kinds of love.
Oh,
He
yes.
did say that, didn't
No,
he?
I didn't.
Go ahead.
All right. The few instances that I mentioned love, there are way more. In fact, I once read there are about 20, 30 cases of love. They're love of all things. You may love your work. He may love his work, which is altogether different than what you want and what he wants. And that's the way it goes on. But I'll repeat what I said the other time when I was recorded. The basis of everything is the way you're brought up in your home and learn to have respect for people and to do things in a way that'll work out well for you in the future. And again, I repeat, take up as much schooling as possible. Never stop studying in order to go ahead. That is of utmost importance.
I can say this. I think it's very important to dedicate yourself to whatever you're doing, whether you like it or not, but while you're doing it, you do the best you can.
And give the best
And give
you can.
everything you have for it, because in the long run, it's going to help you.
Pop?
That's what I can say from experience. Well,
What
go
else?
ahead. Well, let
My
you
God, I
talk.
thought that the way Ellie spoke, you had so much important.
Now you go, keep,
So you had a lot of important things to say.
Well, I think the new lesson you should have would be on a microwave oven.
And I think you should have an HBO. And I think we ought to discuss this right now.
No.
I think we should. I'm
you're-
offering 1 year. I want this on tape so that
Grandpa.
my children should think that I'm cheap, you know?
No.
That I'm offering them 1 year of free HBO. Is that
Grandpa.
fair or is that unfair?
That's definitely
Sounds like a
Grandpa
deal to
loves
me.
certain programs, and it would only interfere with his daily,
Can I say
evening,
yes
morning,
or no?
whatever programs with HBO, because he just wouldn't use it. It would-
Excuse
and
me.
I
Do you
agree
like-
with Jack.
Do you like Robin Williams? You said you liked Robin
Yeah.
Williams. Do you know Robin Williams has a special, a whole hour of nothing but Robin Williams telling dirty
Well,
jokes
during
on
the, well,
television?
that has nothing.
All he tells is dirty
He
jokes.
falls
You don't
asleep.
get dirty jokes on the other thing at all. You know
Let
that?
me just explain something. As far as the microwave oven, I agree, because it saves a lot of time and at
You'll have
times.
more time to watch
And it
HBO.
won't be heat in the
And
kitchen.
mother here sometimes is in a hurry to go to a meeting or something. It takes too long. This way she can take care of it. This I call being utilitarian. It's a necessity. And the other thing, we will hardly have any use. So the money is actually wasted.
Let me ask you a question. When's the last time you went to the movies, Pop? To a movie. You went to
About
the
2
movie.
weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago,
How much did it cost
When
you?
was your last
Nothing.
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 We go into
He
our...
can't go anymore. He can't travel to the
We
movies.
go-
That's right. Okay. So now instead, for $9 a month, you're going to get not one movie, but maybe 30 different movies. You have your choice of the movies. They're full. They're cut. You see the ladies with the tsitskis,
God.
everything else. I think it's terrific.
No,
You
I'll
see?
answer that.
Now he wants it,
I'll
Frank.
answer that.
See, now
I'll
he
answer
wants
that. From the quality of movies that they make today, I'd rather not go to see them because I'm sure I wouldn't enjoy them.
But
It
Graham,
doesn't mean a thing.
With
Wow,
to
you
your
look
me.
like a real
microwave.
cameraman.
with your microwave, Graham, that's going to
Thank
take
you.
you 5 minutes to cook your hour chicken.
Oh,
That's 55 minutes
No, we don't
that
say
you
cook.
can watch HBO.
We say we
No,
nuke it.
no.
kid.
I have to take care of your grandpa. He
Daddy,
needs a
we're
lot
gonna
of
nuke
care.
your
You can
meatballs.
take care of Grandpa while he watches HBO.
No, he
Hey,
doesn't.
Pop,
He'd
how do you
rather
feel
read
about
his
nuclear
newspaper.
food?
To get away from this subject, you know what I would like? I would like to have Jack and Ellie explain to you youngsters what they think you should do in the future.
Right now.
No way.
Hey, Ellie?
I can't give advice to anybody.
We're
What?
still
Oh,
involved in taking care of our own future.
Well, I'll tell you. Let me
Let's
tell
take
you.
care of your own.
I'll tell you what. I say it again. Be dedicated to whatever you do, and never think that you go. You know that you slide off on a job because you don't like it or you're working there. They're paying you for it, and you must give them your everything, whether you like it or not. But you can always go look for something else in the meantime. But while you're doing your work and being paid, you give them everything you have to your best of your ability.
Graham,
This is the advice I give my grandchildren.
Graham, I totally agree with you, and so does Ron, because Ron's doing his job right now, and
That's
he's
right.
not getting
Right.
paid
Let's give
for it.
Ron a hand.
Yeah.
Is this like Saturday Night Live? This is Sunday Night Live.
This is
All right,
better.
Ellie, go
This
ahead,
is
talk.
Ron on
Tell
the
us,
camera.
tell us how you enjoyed your week here.
It was fabulous. We had sun the first
Tell us
time.
in detail.
The first time that we have been to Florida in November that the sun was shining.
Can you give me another ball?
So we stayed at
Don't
Singer
need
Island.
another bar. No, don't give them. That I
It's on tape, Mother.
No, not on film.
Mother, it's on film.
don't give it him.
No.
Deprive your grandchild.
It's too
Jack,
good.
drop
I
you
know.
the
That's good. Very good.
You're lighting fast, Ronald, you're lighting fast. Now you get double nothing.
Sunday Night Live at the Calvins.
Now let's watch it on the TV.